Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna Nozawa stood in the center of the room, her gaze bouncing between the features of those surrounding her. Her customary placid manner was vanished, replaced with a ferocious, nearly savage ferocity. Her hands shook as she grasped the edge of a mahogany table, her knuckles white. The paper Steffi held verified Luna's fears. She was not who she thought she was. Ridge Forrester requested the DNA test in secret to settle a long-standing disagreement regarding Luna's lineage, and it revealed a truth that broke the delicate friendships in the room. Luna was neither a distant relative or an unexpected visitor. She was the direct heir to a fortune linked to a long-buried Forrester scandal. The revelation connected her to a past that involved half the room in falsehoods, betrayals, and a decades-long cover-up. "You lied to me," Luna muttered, her tone low but sharp enough to break the hush. Her gaze fell on Bill Spencer, who stood near the fireplace, his jaw clenched. "All of you lied to me." Bill's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing. He did not need to. The truth was written in the creases on his face, and the way his shoulders tightened. Brooke Logan squirmed uncomfortably beside him, clutching for Ridge's arm as if to steady herself. Ridge, ever the patriarch, stood straight and motionless, his expression unreadable. Hope, Liam, Thomas, and even Carter Walton observed Luna with pity and skepticism. Everyone was aware of the stakes. The DNA results jeopardized not only Luna's identity, but also the entire Forrester company. Luna's chest heaved as she took a step back, her eyes searching the room for an ally, but discovering none. "I trusted you," she explained, her voice rising. "I believed I belonged here. But this," she indicated to the paper in Steffi's fingers. "This changes everything." Steffi took a step forward, her face a mask of controlled wrath. "Calm down, Luna." "We didn't know," Luna snapped and cut her off. "You ordered the exam, Steffi. You went behind my back. You all did." Her voice trembled, and she appeared to be on the verge of tears. But then her face stiffened, and something deadly appeared in her eyes. "Do you want to know the truth? Okay, now you have it. And you're all going to pay for it." The room went silent. Nobody noticed the thin, slim device Luna had retrieved from her purse until it was too late. The rifle glittered in her grasp, its barrel reflecting the light from the chandelier above. A collective gasp echoed around the room as Luna raised the weapon, her hand steady despite the tears flowing down her cheeks. "Luna, no!" Hope exclaimed, taking a step closer and raising her hands in a placating motion. "Put that down, please." However, Luna was not listening. Her attention was fixated on Bill, the guy who had welcomed her into his home and referred to her as family before betraying her with secrets. "You knew," she insisted, her voice shaking with wrath. "You knew who I was, but you made me think I was nothing." Bill took a tentative step forward, his hands outstretched. "Luna, I did not know the complete truth. I swore. Put down the pistol and we'll speak about it." "Speak." Luna laughed with a harsh, empty tone. "There's nothing left to say." The first shot went off before anyone could respond. The sound was startling, a harsh crack that resonated against the walls. Bill lurched back, gripping his chest, eyes wide with surprise. Blood flowed through his fingers as he dropped to the floor, his body hitting the flooring with a harsh thud. Brooke, Hope, and Steffi's screams combined to form a chorus of panic. Liam lunged at Luna, but she swung the gun toward him, her face distorted with rage. "Stay back," she said, her voice rough. "Everyone keep back." Ridge rushed reflexively to cover Brooke as he attempted to reason with her. "Luna, this is not you. You don't want to do this." "Do I?" She spat, her eyes burning. "You've all used me. You treated my life like a game. My mother." Her voice trembled, and the gun shook briefly. "You took everything from me. No one dared to move." The air was saturated with the metallic odor of blood and the bitter flavor of gunpowder. Bill lay motionless on the floor, his breathing faint, and a pool of crimson formed beneath him. Hope, with tears flowing down her cheeks, Try it again. Luna, please. This is something we can fix. Can we make things right? Luna's laugh was maniacal now, and her grip on the revolver tightened. Do you believe you can just wave a wand and solve this? My entire existence was a lie. Before anyone could react, another shot rang out. This time, Liam yelled out, gripping his shoulder as he fell back into the wall. Blood soaked his white shirt, and he slumped to the floor, his face pallid from anguish. Steffi yelled his name and ran to his side, her hands quivering as she put them over his wound. Luna, stop. Ridge yelled, his voice booming above the pandemonium. You're not thinking clearly. Put down the gun immediately. But Luna was beyond reason. Her eyes were wild, her breathing irregular. The DNA findings had destroyed something inside her, and the revolver in her hand was the only thing keeping her grounded in the moment. She swung the barrel at Ridge, her fingers shaking on the trigger. You don't get to tell me what to do, she stated, her voice low and menacing. Not anymore. The standoff dragged on, with each second seeming to last forever. Carter, who had been silent until now, took a hesitant step forward with his hands outstretched. Luna, he whispered quietly, his voice calm, yet forceful. Look at me. You are not alone in this. We can figure this out together. But you have to lay down the pistol. For a little moment, it appeared like he might have gotten through to her. Luna's gaze fluttered, and the gun dropped slightly. But then Steffi, still kneeling alongside Liam, broke out a sob, and Luna's gaze was drawn back to her. The rifle lifted again, aiming towards Steffi's head. You, Luna growled. You began it. You couldn't just leave me alone. Steffi froze, her hands still pressed to Liam's wound. Luna, I was trying to protect the family. Luna's voice was snarling. You were safeguarding your own interests. You wanted me gone. Before anyone could react, the front door sprang open, and a swarm of police officers entered the room, their rifles drawn. Drop the gun. One of them shouted, his voice cutting through the commotion. Now. Luna's eyes widened, and for a second, it appeared that she might agree. But then her eyes shifted to the DNA findings, which were still lying on the table where Steffi had dropped them. The paper was crumpled and stained with Bill's blood. Something inside Luna cracked. She raised the rifle again, her finger tightening around the trigger. The third shot never arrived. A police officer shoved Luna to the ground, sending the gun tumbling across the floor as her cries filled the room. The officers restrained her, putting her arms behind her back while she fought and cried. You do not comprehend, she cried. You do not know what they did to me. As the cops carried Luna out, the place fell into turmoil. Paramedics raced in and treated Bill and Liam. Brooke clung to Ridge, sobbing with her face buried in his chest. Steffi, still kneeling beside Liam, whispered reassuring words to him, her hands moist with his blood. Carter stood still, his gaze fixed on the location where Luna had been moments earlier. The DNA results were forgotten on the table, a quiet tribute to the devastation they had caused. The Forresters had been involved in scandals before, but this was different. This was a wound that would not heal quickly, if at all. Outside, police sirens sounded as Luna was placed into a squad car. Her face, crushed against the window, was full of sorrow and wrath. As the car drew away, she locked eyes with Hope, who was standing on the porch, tears running down her cheeks. For a little moment, their gazes locked in mute acknowledgement of the kinship they had once shared, and the betrayal that had shattered it. Inside, the paramedics worked feverishly to stabilize William. His pulse was feeble, and he breathed shallowly. Liam, despite being aware, was in anguish, his shoulder a jumble of blood and broken tissue. The chamber was a battlefield, with the victims of Luna's anger sprawled across the floor. As the night progressed, the Forrester estate became a crime scene. Yellow tape surrounded the living area as detectives invaded the residence, taking statements and gathering evidence. The DNA findings were packed and tagged, and the officers were immediately whispering about their contents. The press would have a field day with this, dragging the Forrester name through the mud once more. However, the scandal was of little consequence to people inside the mansion. Bill's life was on the line, and Liam's injuries, while not life-threatening, was severe. The family sat in the hospital waiting room, looks haggard and tired. No one mentioned Luna, but her presence lingered like a ghost, and her deeds left a mark on everyone. In the days that followed, the truth about Luna's history came to light. The DNA results linked her to a long-dead Forrester relative, a lady whose affair with a wealthy businessman was concealed to safeguard the family's image. Luna's mother, it came out, had been involved in the cover-up, and her silence had been bought with money and threats. When Luna found the truth, it destroyed something inside her, transforming her pain into a weapon. The police probe uncovered more than anyone anticipated. Luna had been plotting her vengeance for weeks, her rage seething as she pieced together the lies that had defined her life. The gun, stolen from Bill's vault, was intended to be her ultimate statement, making the Forresters feel her sorrow. As Bill fought for his life in the ICU, his family struggled with their own guilt. Did they push Luna too far? Could they have stopped her before it got to this? The questions lingered in the air, unanswered and unanswerable. Luna's trial became a media circus, with every aspect of the incident being discussed on talk shows and tabloids. The DNA results, which were previously kept secret, were now public knowledge, and the Forrester family's dirty laundry was exposed for all to see. Luna's defense team claimed that the betrayal drove her insane, while the prosecution portrayed her as a cold-blooded killer who had meticulously planned her attack. Luna sat calmly in court, her eyes lifeless. She avoided looking at the Forresters, who sat in the front row, their expressions a mix of grief and rage. Luna did not respond when the verdict was delivered, which was guilty of 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. It seemed as if she'd accepted her fate. The Forrester family resumed their lives, but nothing was the same. Bill survived, but his recuperation was lengthy, and the physical and mental scars would never completely heal. Liam, too, bore the brunt of that night, his shoulder a continuous reminder of how close he had come to losing everything. Luna became a cautionary tale, a warning about what occurs when secrets are buried too deeply. The Forrester estate, once a symbol of riches and power, now resembled a tomb, haunted by memories of that fatal night. And the DNA findings, those damning sheets of paper, were sealed away in a safe, never to be discussed again. However, as the Forresters were well aware, secrets have a way of resurfacing. And when they do, they bring a reckoning that no one can avoid. The scene begins with a difficult morning at Forrester Creations. The hum of sewing machines and the quiet talk of the design team fill the air, yet everyone feels something is wrong. Luna stands alone in the showroom, staring at the envelope in her hand containing the DNA test results, which might change everything. Luna has spent weeks caught between 2 families, her mother Poppy's long-buried background, and the strong Forrester clan. RJ, her lover, has tried to soothe her, saying that no piece of paper can define their love. But Luna knows better. Since she was a toddler, she has been obsessed with discovering her father's true identity. And now the answers are right here, enclosed in a thin white envelope that seems impossibly heavy. Poppy enters, her face strained and pallid. "You don't have to open it," she says softly. Sometimes the truth simply causes more grief. But Luna's voice trembles as she responds, "I've spent my entire life not knowing who I truly am. I can't keep pretending." As she tears open the package, her eyes skim the page, and the color leaves her face. For a moment, no one talks. Poppy looks in dread as Luna gently lowers the paper, her lips parted in surprise. The results are clear. Luna's biological father is not who she imagined. It's Bill Spencer. The room appears to tilt. Poppy runs forward, but Luna jumps back, clutching the paper as if it were a weapon. "You lied to me my whole life," Luna adds, her voice low and wavering. "You let me build my world on a lie." Poppy bursts into sobs. "I tried to protect you. I didn't want you to grow up with the misery I had to endure." But Luna is too astonished to respond. Her memory flashes back to moments with Bill, the way he always looked at her with wonder and a peculiar compassion, and it all makes awful sense. She remembers RJ's voice telling her that nothing could separate them. But how can she confront him now, knowing that her link to the Forresters is deeper and worse than anyone realized? Meanwhile, across town at Spencer Publications, Bill is sitting in his office, oblivious that his world is about to implode. He's debating with Liam about business negotiations when his phone rings. A message from Poppy. There's only one line, she knows. Bill freezes. He glances at the text again and mutters, "It's time." Ridge and Brooke return to Forrester Creations, prompted by RJ's urgent call. They discover Luna sitting in solitude, with the DNA results on the table in front of her. Brooke's face softens instantly. She understands the expression of a young woman whose heart has just been broken. Ridge looks at the paper and frowns. "What is this?" RJ responds before Luna can speak. "A DNA test. Luna is clearly Bill's daughter, as evidenced by the stillness of the room." Brooke's palm jumps to her mouth, and Ridge's jaw clenches. "Bill Spencer? Are you certain?" Poppy nods weakly. "It is true. I did not want this to come out. But Luna deserves the truth." Before anyone can say anything else, Bill walks in. His commanding yet conflicted presence pervades the room. His gaze meets Luna's, and for the first time, no disguise separates them. "Luna," he adds quietly, "I didn't know for certain. I suspected, but I never intended to hurt you." Luna stares at him. "You've hurt me anyway." Emotions whirl around them, including guilt, betrayal, and perplexity. RJ reaches for Luna's hand, but she draws back, tears welling in her eyes. "Everything we've been through," she continues, "every moment. How am I supposed to look at you the same way now? How can I love you when I'm not sure who I am anymore?" The next act takes place later that night at the Spencer estate. Luna stands on the terrace, watching the city lights, her mind racing. Poppy and Bill dispute inside, raising their voices. Bill says that he wants to be a part of Luna's life. Poppy begs him to give her space. "She's not ready for you," Poppy says. "She is overwhelmed. Allow her to breathe." But Bill, stubborn as ever, says, "She needs a father who shows up." "I'm not walking away." Luna listens from the doorway, unseen by either of them. Her heart is divided between longing for the father she never knew and resenting the destruction he has caused. RJ arrives shortly after, his face strained but determined. "I don't care who your father is," he informs her. "You're still yourself. You are still the woman I love," Luna says, shaking her head. "RJ, you do not comprehend. Everything's changed." Their disagreement intensifies until Luna says, "I need to be alone." RJ hesitates but walks away silently, his heart hurting. A knock on the door follows shortly thereafter. Liam has come to check on his father. He discovers Luna shaking, her eyes blurry from crying. "Luna," he adds softly, "none of this is your fault." She looks to him. "So, why does it feel like it is?" The next day, the fallout spreads like wildfire across Los Angeles. Katie confronts Bill, outraged that another secret has been revealed at Spencer Publications. Steffi and Hope debate the topic in shock, recognizing how much it will affect both families. "Poor RJ," Hope says. "He's always been the cool-headed one." Luna isolates herself, refusing calls and visits. Even Poppy is unable to reach her. In her stillness, Luna recalls every discussion, every lie, and every time when she thought she understood herself. Then, an unexpected visitor arrives, Lee Finnegan. Always direct and controlled. "Do you think you're the first person to have their life flipped upside down by DNA results?" Lee says forcefully. "You cannot let this define you. You're stronger than that." Her words struck Luna hard. For the first time, she sees a road forward based solely on her own truth. Later that evening, Luna and RJ meet at the Cliff home. She appears fatigued but peaceful. "I don't know what the future holds," she admits. "But I need to find out who I am without all these secrets." RJ answers with a wink. "Then I'll help you, if you'll let me." Luna smiles slightly. "Hopefully someday. But for the time being, I have to do this on my own." As she walks away, The camera lingers on RJ's face, which shows a mix of grief, pride, and love. Ridge and Brooke return to Forrester to see how the turmoil affects their family. Brooke sighed. Every time we think we've seen it all, life surprises us again. Ridge offers a nod. That's Los Angeles. For you. In the final scene, Luna comes home with the DNA results sitting on her dresser. She stares at them one last time before softly folding the paper and putting it in a drawer. I'm done letting the past control me, she says quietly. The camera pans out through the glass as she stands there, finally still, a woman whose world has been destroyed but has found the strength to rebuild. Just before the screen goes blank, a phone vibrates on the table. A new message appears. You do not yet know the full truth. Luna's eyes widened. Fade out.